Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks. With the Spain News Update, we'll have a look at some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the press here in Spain, and we'll also take a look at some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times by viewers. Before I begin, a huge thanks to all of the people that have supported the channel in recent times, whether it's by buying me a coffee, whether it's through the Super Thanks option on YouTube, whether it's my longer term supporters on Patreon, or whether it's the channel members on this YouTube channel. Thank you very much for that support. Now, straight into the news. And as we saw the other day, the Barcelona City Council has announced the ban on all short-term rental accommodation in that city by 2028, and now the central Spanish government has decided to get in on the act. And as we can read here, the Spanish government is studying a ban on tourist flats in apartment buildings. The Minister for Housing and the Urban Agenda, Isabel Rodriguez, announced on Tuesday that the government is studying a reform of the horizontal property law to veto tourist flats in buildings with homeowners associations, as it considers these dwellings carry out an economic activity. Although without specifying details, Rodriguez pointed out that the aim is to allow greater involvement of the neighbours so that they are the ones who allow or not to exploit flats located in their building in this way. Currently, the law on horizontal property already conditions the implementation of tourist flats in this type of building to the favourable vote of 3/5 of the total number of owners, which in turn must represent 3/5 of the participation quotas. The government would like to go beyond this safeguard, according to the minister, who has avoided specifying in what sense they are considering modifying the regulations. So there we go, the government is studying a ban on tourist flats in apartment buildings all over the country, but of course they haven't specified exactly what they are planning to do. But as we saw there, the idea is to give the neighbours of these apartment complexes a greater say when it comes to who can do what with their property. So we'll wait and see if we get some more detail from the government on this proposed change. Second piece of news today, and it's some good news for the average consumer here in Spain, because VAT on basic foodstuffs will remain at 0% until October, when it will rise to 2%. Basic foodstuffs will continue with reduced VAT for 6 months more, but unlike what has been happening for a year and a half, this time they will gradually recover the usual rates of tax. The government, after several weeks monitoring the prices of all these products, has given the green light this Tuesday to the extension of the measure, which will come into effect on the 1st of July. This group of foodstuffs traditionally includes common breads, bread flour, milk, cheese, eggs, fruit, vegetables, pulses, tubers, and natural cereals. From July, olive oil will also be included in this category, whose VAT, now at 5%, but usually 10%, will start to benefit from the super reduced rate once this progressive recovery of the tax has been completed. So basic foodstuffs to continue at 0% VAT here in Spain until October. And for the first time, olive oil being included in this group. And it's about time too, especially given the fact that more than 1 million households in this country have stopped using olive oil because it's just too expensive. Now the next piece of news, and it's an interesting piece of news for people that might be living in a coastal town or village here in Spain, because as we can read here, smaller beach promenades, demolition and dunes, preparing the coast for the climate crisis. There was a Valencian mayor who, back in 2020, tried to open a debate after another storm had turned his town upside down. Perhaps it did not make sense to spend a lot of public money on rebuilding the town's promenade over and over again, and it was better to think about giving back to the sea part of what it had gained. The councillor was Alex Ruiz from Compromís, and the municipality was Belregard with 4,500 inhabitants. I'm still thinking about it. I'm convinced of what I said, he explains 4 years later. But that still haunts me, and it punished me electorally. We went from being the most voted party to the least voted party in the municipality. The storm that hit the Valencian coast was called Gloria, and the Belregard promenade was later repaired with state funds. So there we go, an interesting article, and this is a dilemma for many coastal town halls here in Spain. Every year after the winter storms, they find that their infrastructure, their coastal infrastructure, has been destroyed. For example, promenades and the like. And every year, a lot of these town halls rebuild the promenades with taxpayer money. And this happens again and again and again. One man, the mayor of that town in Valencia that featured in the article, decided to speak up and say maybe it's not a good idea to rebuild the promenade again after every storm that destroys it. And of course, that was the end of his political career because the majority didn't agree with that sentiment. So it's probably time that town halls on the Mediterranean coast here in Spain came up with a plan B instead of wasting taxpayers' money rebuilding this infrastructure year after year after year after those winter storms. Because let's be honest, these storms are getting worse and worse, stronger and stronger as the years go by. And the final piece of news today, and perhaps one of the most ridiculous things that I've seen for a long time in the press here, and it is, could Puerto Rico be an autonomous community of Spain? An association's peculiar petition to the United Nations. A group called Adelante Reunificacionistas has petitioned the UN to begin negotiations for Puerto Rico to become Spain's 18th autonomous community. The petition, submitted by a representative of the movement to the UN Decolonization Committee, seeks to restore the historical link between the Caribbean island and the mother country. We want to regain representation in the Spanish Congress of Deputies as we once had, and we want to return to Spain. Long live Spain, motherland, and long live Spanish Puerto Rico. Ole! Thank you very much, said the group's spokeswoman during her speech. Actual support for the movement in Puerto Rico is a matter of debate, with Adelante Reunificacionistas claiming that 16.3% of the population supports their cause. So there we go, a group of people want Puerto Rico to become Spain's 18th autonomous community. Now I ask myself the question, don't these people have anything else to do? Because let's be honest, this is something that will never happen. It's absolutely ridiculous and people are just wasting their time and others. Now let's have a look at some comments left on the channel recently. One here from Ken: don't think that type of rubbish situation could have happened where I grew up in Huntington Beach, California. First, I doubt even troublemakers would do this, and if so, the government wouldn't have to intervene. The public would have come out and cleaned up the mess. What lowlifes would do that? And another comment here from EMS on the same topic: wow, they should suspend the celebrations from now on. They don't deserve anything. Yeah guys, thanks for the comments and referring to an article that we saw on yesterday's live stream about the state of some beaches here in Spain after the San Juan celebrations that were held a couple of days ago. And if you didn't see the images of the mess that was left on beaches here, I'll show it again. This was a beach in Malaga, and apparently this happened at literally hundreds of beaches in Spain during these celebrations. Absolutely disgusting to see all of that rubbish left on the beach by partygoers who were celebrating those San Juan celebrations. And I asked the question yesterday, what type of lowlife leaves a beach in that condition after a party? What type of person is so lazy that they can't pick up their rubbish and put it in a bin nearby? That's another question. Because the people that left this destruction on the beach down there in Malaga, or any other beach for that matter, should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. And the saddest thing for me about those images is that a lot of the rubbish that was left behind by young people who we are told are the most environmentally aware group of people on the planet. But it's clear that that is not the case, and the people that participate in those celebrations have absolutely no respect, or at least the majority have absolutely no respect for their environment, and that's sad. One here from Recipe Review: unfortunately, this has not got any better in the nearly 20 years I've lived here. From throwing their rubbish on the floors in bars and out car windows, kids aren't chastised by parents, so they grow up thinking it's fine, someone else's problem. They are employed to pick up after me. Yeah, Recipe Review, thanks for the comment, and that was the mentality when I first came to live in this country some 25 years ago. Rubbish is somebody else's problem. I'll throw my rubbish where I want because somebody is paid to pick it up. I thought that over the last 25 years, perhaps naively, that the situation would get better, that younger generations would be more environmentally conscious, more environmentally aware and not leave their rubbish lying around. But unfortunately, that's not the case. We see the problem on the beaches in that image that we saw previously, and every weekend where I live here, we have the same problem with the botellón. Young people drinking, they get drunk, they have plastic bottles, they have plastic bags, and they leave it lying around where they have their party. Absolutely disgusting. So it just goes to show that generation after generation just don't get the message. One here from Regina, and they don't allow dogs on the beaches. My dogs are way more civilized than these nasty polluters, not pigs, because pigs do not pollute at all. Yeah, Regina, thanks for the comment. And the reason they don't allow dogs on many beaches here in Spain is because a lot of people don't pick up after their dogs. It might not be your case, Regina, but a lot of people just don't give two shits. And if the beaches look like that after a party, imagine what the beaches would look like if you allowed hundreds of people to take their dogs to them. In fact, I almost just vomited thinking what that would look like. Absolutely disgusting. One here from Teddy. Shame about the lad losing his life. How sad. Regarding the attack on homeowners, if I can't do Airbnb, then I'll leave my place empty before taking responsibility for Spain's inability to build its own people houses. Yeah, Teddy, thanks for the comment, and I imagine that's what lots of people are going to do once these Airbnb bans kick in cities like Barcelona. They're just going to let their apartments sit there empty. One here from Paul. Yet again, politicians trying to stop the free market with dogmatic proposals. Try building homes. Yeah, Paul, thanks for the comment and some good points you make. Time for politicians to stop with these dogmatic proposals and start building homes for people that need them the most. But for whatever reason, it never seems to happen, and the situation gets worse and worse and worse as the years go by. One here from Skincare Makeup. A hug from Sicily. I love so much your interesting videos on my beloved Spain. May I ask, what is your favorite city? Once I would have said Granada, but after visiting Bilbao, impressive mix of modern and ancient old actually, I prefer Bilbao. What is your opinion on Bilbao and your favorite city? Yes, Skincare Makeup, thanks for the comment and thanks for the questions. What is my favorite city here in Spain? Is it Bilbao? Well, funny you should mention that, because a few years ago, I think back in 2019 it was, I went to Bilbao and I asked myself the question, is this the best city in Spain? And I recently went back to Bilbao to film another video and to see if Bilbao still stands out compared to other cities here in Spain. And the answer is yes, it stands out by an absolute mile. Over the last few years, I've been to many cities in this country and no city has what Bilbao has. So if you ask me that question now, after recently revisiting the city of Bilbao and still being impressed by what that city has to offer, in my opinion, it's the best city in Spain by far. On that note, I'm going to wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. If you have anything to add to the conversation today, the comment section is the place for you. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego.